Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. If in the course of this video you hear screams and yells, do not be alarmed. We have a bunch of children over today, and while I'm away from where they're at playing outside, I am kind of downhill from them, so it does kind of travel down this way. And the mic on this thing is pretty sensitive, so just letting you know. You hear a bunch of hoops and hollers, it's just our children and some other children playing together. It's okay. Another thing, did you see today that gold hit another record high day? We've been having a lot of record high days with gold here lately, and gold is just booming. I mean, it's a gold market right now. I know that most of you are going to say the same thing. Gold is just out of our reach. It's too expensive, and it is. It's high. It's not that gold is expensive or gold is high. It's that the dollar is becoming less and less valuable. So maybe gold isn't something you want to put. I mean, if you got the money, I don't think that we've hit the ceiling at all on gold. So there's a lot of experts that believe that this year it could top out between 25 and 20 at 2,500 to 3,000 this year. So there's still some room. And remember, it's not necessarily investment like you would be purchasing stocks or something like that to get a return off of. It's a place to put your wealth to secure it. But silver is not too bad right now. It has been going up, but it's certainly not at its peak. And I think it has a lot of room still to grow. So if you're interested in purchasing some silver, junk silver, which is previously circulated U.S. coin, or just bars or rounds or anything like that, there is going to be a link in the description and over in the comment section for a reputable place that I've purchased from many times. If you're interested, if you use someone else, that's fine. But I get questions from time to time from people that they don't even know where to go, and they're leery. You know, well, I'm buying precious metals. Is there some place that's not gonna, rake me over the coals or something like that? This is a pretty good one to look at. Russia and Ukraine and NATO and the United States, things just keep getting tense there. And I know that many, or at least there's this kind of 50-50, it almost seems, of whether or not it's all really going to happen, whether or not there's going to be an actual World War III start there, or are we just watching things to distract us and to entertain us? Who knows? I can't tell you either way, but things are heating up over there. There are some escalations. Russia announced today that they have strong evidence, that Ukraine did fund the attack on Moscow a few days ago. They found bank transfers or money transfers and cryptocurrency transfers between Ukraine and some of these people. Now, originally, when it first happened, Russia gave out a pretty harsh warning that if they found out that the United States, NATO, Ukraine, or any of those had been involved in this, that they would retaliate very forcefully. Well, now it does seem that they have found the smoking gun. And I guess the question is are they, and what will that retaliation look like? Don't know. I mean, we had the whole ship thing a couple of days ago run into the bridge. It's probably a 50-50 opinion on whether that was completely accidental and poor, maintenance on the ship and poor, less than adequate workers versus, it was some kind of either false flag or outside attack. I don't know. There was I believe it was just yesterday, a fueling station in Bowling Green, Kentucky exploded, very large explosion. Could that just be an accident? Possibly. But, we've had all kinds of these crazy freak accidents over the last couple of years. And it starts to make you wonder, are these just simply accidents? Or at least are some of these some kind of being purposefully done, whether by our own government or some outside source? I don't know what to tell you. It all is suspicious, and I'm not making any accusations. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. It's just something to ponder. Now, today, it was announced that part of the Russian naval fleet, or at least a contingency of them, are making their way through the Red Sea. Now, the Red Sea is where the United States Navy and several other NATO navies have been working because of the Houthis, the whole traffic ships there that they're firing missiles at. Well, there's an aircraft carrier and other U.S. naval assets and other NATO assets in the Red Sea, and now Russia is headed through there. No one really knows where they're going or what their business is, but it does appear that the route that they're taking will put them in fairly close proximity of, U.S. and Western forces. So the question is there, will we see nothing? Is nothing going to happen? Or could there be some catalyst that kicks off World War III? Or, it could just be an accident. I will admit that accidents still happen, okay? I live with children. Accidents happen every day. But is it possible that someone with an itchy trigger finger or something like that does something stupid, makes a mistake, causes things to start off? Yeah, that's always possible. But is it also possible that there's something that's purposefully orchestrated here? That's also possible too. Again, I'm not telling you that we're on the brink of World War III. I'm telling you that things are looking very, very fishy. Okay, they're looking like it's things could certainly happen. And with the tensions that's been building more and more, we have seen an increase in hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine is doing a lot more incursions into Russia. Russia is doing more strikes in and around civilian targets, the capital of Kiev, and places like that they haven't done over the last couple of years. And we've got NATO and the United States and Ukraine saying that if NATO doesn't help Ukraine's going to fail. We've got France saying just a couple of weeks ago, or a week or so ago, that there was a strong possibility that they could send 2,000 troops into Ukraine to help them out. There's been Germany and the United Kingdom and stuff have been strongly hinting that they could be deploying troops inside of Ukraine. Now once this happens, things are going to change. You can't go back from that. There's also been some very strong language, let's put it that way, strong language from Russia about Western F-16s that could be used by Ukraine. And so to explain that, they've been training Ukrainian pilots to fly F-16s. But most likely those F-16s, even though flown by Ukrainian pilots, will actually take off in NATO territory, so not in Ukraine. So it may be Poland or some other NATO country that the planes are actually based at, and they'll take off from there and then, be flown by Ukrainian pilots and strike Russian targets. Well, Russia says that they view those bases, those airports, those fields where the F-16s would take off as fair targets. And so there's another escalation there. We're seeing that. We're seeing this stuff happen. And the strong possibility that something goes wrong soon, or maybe goes right, depending on your perspective, I think is certainly increasing. We've also had BRICS doing a lot of big talk lately. Last few weeks, I've been seeing a lot of big talk. Last year, we heard some things out of BRICS, but it seems like this year they've become very emboldened. Venezuela and about 30 some other countries have said they now want to join BRICS fully. BRICS has been talking very openly about the U.S. dollar collapsing, how it's becoming weak, how it's not going to be able to stand against the BRICS. And I'm not saying that is correct necessarily, although the dollar does seem to be weakening. Almost $35 trillion in debt, it's definitely weakening. But the conversation, the saber rattling between United States and Russia and China and North Korea and Iran and stuff are becoming a lot louder. And so I do believe that we are entering into a closer and closer, it's a constant thing. It's not that, it just happened today. It's a constant movement, constant, momentum towards some level of World War III that's obviously different than where we're at now, because I already believe we're there. It's more coldish, lukewarmish World War III, but certainly there. This is going to affect us. It's going to affect us greatly because, number one, most of us alive, most of you watching, there may be some people watching that lived during World War II, but the vast majority did not. And so we only know about it in history books. And so we don't fully understand what it's like to live through a world war. But even if you did, I believe very strongly that this war will be vastly different than any war ever seen. The amount of equipment and power and technology, and just that it's really truly a fight for global dominance, a new world order. Russia, their top Orthodox priest or minister or whatever, I don't know the exact title, I don't follow that, but they said today that this is in fact a holy war. That this it was just a week ago that the Kremlin said that it's not really any longer a special not a special police action or special security action is what they've been calling going on in Ukraine. They said now we are fully at war. Well, now this top Orthodox leader is saying that this is actually a holy war, that this is a holy war against the powers of Satan. And Putin has kind of backed that up in recent times when he's talked about how the very woke left in the West, the ones that you and I don't like either, that they're perverting the world. They're like a disease spreading, and that part of what they're doing is, in their minds, a holy war. So when you put all of this together, Russia and China, and I'm not saying Russia and China are holy at all or have any kind of leg to stand on when it comes to morality, but I mean, at least in some areas they seem to. It's starting to be put together very similar, at least looking like a biblical kind of war, especially when, with Israel, what Israel is doing and how the whole world is starting to kind of stand against Israel. You've got this red heifer thing. It appears that they have some strong interest in building a third temple soon. Stuff coming out recently on Benjamin Netanyahu about how he was blessed by their top rabbi many years ago, and that he, told that you need to build the temple. All this kind of stuff, their predictions and prophecies there in Israel that he would be the last prime minister before the temple was built. These are all just random things, I get it. But when you start to put all this stuff together, remember, it's a big picture and each little thing happens as just a piece of that puzzle. When you start to put it all together, we're certainly looking like some type of massive global war, and very possibly a biblical war. And if that happens, it could happen soon. Weeks, months, or even a few years. And even if it is a few years, that's still a real close time for us. And we need to be getting ready for that. That's why I advocate on here every day to be stocking up, every day to becoming self-sufficient, every day to get out of the cities and the suburban areas, get away from people, find you a little piece of ground that you can survive on, at least better than you can in the middle of the city in a high-rise apartment. But get out and build some kind of community or connection with others. Because when you see the stuff that's happening, and when you stand back and you try to see the bigger picture, you take a few steps back and you see it all, and you see that all these different things, these little points all over the map, so to speak, that are happening, you start to put it together as a pretty serious thing happening here, folks. I mean, this is the Great Reset, the New World Order, the Agenda 2030, all of those things. This is serious. And of course, then we've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming into this country illegally every month. I think they just said today that there's another massive caravan, massive thousands in this caravan that should reach the California border in just the next few days. So this is happening constantly, and it's been done for purpose. And it's becoming quite clear that folks like you and I are really the real target. They want to eliminate, exterminate folks like us. And so we need to be getting ready. We need to be stocking up. Food is important. The precious metals, it's good to have. I wouldn't put tons and tons of your money in it, but it's good to have that stuff for bartering, trading, securing some of your wealth if you have it. I mean, most of us don't. Having a means to defend that, and training regularly, getting out regularly and training so that you can be proficient in how to defend that. And then train with others that you're going to be defending things together, and do other kinds of training, medical stuff, how to just run a homestead, how to live simple and self-sufficient. It's something that most people don't even know how to do anymore. These kinds of things are going to become so important in the future for most of us. And you need to be getting ready. It's time to get your houses in order and start preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.